Welcome to the first annual Qualico Mixed Doubles Classic, brought to you from the Bow Valley in beautiful Alberta, Canada. Our host venues are the Banff Curling Club in the iconic Banff National Park, and the Canmore Golf and Curling Club in the gateway to the Canadian Rockies. The event is proudly sponsored by Qualico. We create what we believe in. The Malcolm. Experience Canmore's crown jewel. Vision Electronics. Your best price. And Bow Valley Credit Union. Growing together. The Qualico Mixed Doubles Classic. Up next. All right, welcome to the 2 o'clock matchup here being held at the Banff Curling Club at the Fenland Centre in Banff, the first national park, Banff National Park. We've got our feature matchup that has just got underway. We've got Birchard, Schneider, who are playing against Just Wills. And, well, as we tuned in, we just saw an amazing shot by Schneider raising his front center guard back and picking out a shot. We'll be also talking about the other games that are being played here today. We've got over on sheet 1, Peter Rios, Jenny Parrott are playing against Anderson and Dropkin. We've got the Swiss against the US, basically. Not quite a hockey game, but might be one in the finals of World Juniors if they both win their games. We've also got Laws Morris playing Sterling and Kingman over on sheet 2. Of course, Laws and Morris, the defending Olympic gold medalists, and Sterling Kingman, Scottish team, part of the British program that's over here at our event and playing quite well around the world. Our feature matchup, we said, Birchard, Schneider, Just Wills, and on sheet 4 to our right, of which you'll get some of the coverage as you watch our live streaming, we've got Drever and Bernie, a local team out of Canmore, a lot of fan support for them, the great curlers at their clubs, both league champions there, playing against Silcox and Kirak, team out of Canmore who actually play their mixed doubles in Canmore but live in Calgary. We featured them the other night, so a lot of great balanced match games here going on, and we'll try to keep you up to date on what's going on. But on our feature game right now, we are a few rocks in, literally 2 rocks left per team. The last rock does belong to Wills and Just, which is updated now on our screen. To bring you up to speed, you can look at the overhead camera that shows that blue, which is Justin Wills, are sitting the one on the top of the button. Meanwhile, on the back of the button is a rock belonging to Birchard and Schneider. They also have one in the 12-foot. What you can kind of see as you look down the ice, I think it's pretty clear, but we'll always give you a bit of a sense of what's happening out in front of the house. We've got a blue rock on the center line. Of course, that would have been positioned there at the beginning of the end. We've also got a yellow rock just off to the left, covering part of that side, and another one just off to the right. So certainly a few blockers out front, few rocks in the house. Looks like they're going to try and play off something on the right side here. Birchard indicating that down to Schneider, who's not convinced yet. Still looking down, still hasn't settled in to accept the shot. But certainly some good dialogue happening. What's great about this mixed doubles game is you've got 2 people, and we did talk to Fowler and Fowler at the end of last game, and one thing they said certainly, which I agree wholeheartedly with, is good communication amongst the 2 people is paramount. You've got to be on the same page, and it's really just the 2 of you, and you do everything. You can't just leave a shot. I'm not saying anybody does that in the 4-person game, but certainly in a 2-person game, you're all in on all shots. So here comes Schneider, once again throwing a heavy heater down the ice. He did this on his previous shot, trying to just miss the guard and get to it. And at least he opened it up on that side. So I think the optimal shot was to be a little skinnier to that guard and get through and raise back his own yellow into the blue. But certainly the acceptable alternative, the plan B as we like to call it, was to pick off that yellow one that was interfering and open it up for them. So Wills and Just now taking a peek at what they want to do and their options. But already quickly in this game, we've got a lot of thinking going on. So we know this game is aggressive. We know that there's a lot of offense in it. It does mean there's a lot of thinking that goes on. It looks like they've settled on a shot. And as we've said often, and will continue to, a lot of times players are electing to bring the player out of the house down to help sweep, which means we're not quite sure what they call, but we're getting better and better at reading their minds, I think. So as soon as we get him lined up and he lets it go, we can tell you pretty well what he's doing, just based on the line of delivery and the speed at which he releases it. So looks like from this, he's going out to the 12 foot and he's trying to do a draw around. So he's trying to draw into lie 2. He'll come around that top yellow in the 12 foot and try and settle back in on top of the yellow one in the back of the button. So Just is sweeping hard to keep it out there. They want to keep it out. I think he's by the guard now. It's all a matter of weight. Can she get it back there? It's really cutting well. He's got a great line. Now there's a weight there to get down and in behind. Oh, it just not quite the weight, so it crashed on the guard. But you know what? Still a very usable rock. You can raise that one back in and use it. So not a loss at all. Of course, Birchard and Schneider have their own yellow rock there in the center line that they can get at and come back to. So they're lining something up. It looks like they're lining up a hit on that blue one off the yellow, but we'll wait to see the final call. But certainly from where Shannon's standing, they're trying to get an angle on this blue. And I think they feel that they can get probably half of that blue. If they get that blue coming across, they can hit that blue. It's on the button shot rock, fairly thick, and I think the rub will take it by the back yellow one, and they'll be sitting too. If even if it rubs that back yellow one, it is well in a good spot, in a scoring spot. It certainly is behind the tee line and is something that Justin Wills can draw down to or freeze to generate their deuce. So certainly I think the call that we have on the last shot by Birchard is going to be to try the double. We're seeing again with this team, as we've seen with all teams that have been on our feature draw, the women are throwing the first and fifth stone, and the men are throwing the second, third, and fourth stone in the end. So here we are, the final shot by Birchard Schneider. She's trying to do the cross double. He's on it right away. Oh, off. It's always a great sign when you're on and off like he has been. Must be really close. Oh. And oh. Well, that's the risk always with rocks in the back and when you're trying to do a cross hit. Didn't execute the way they wanted. It was really close. But the result is they've left Justin Wills sitting 2 in the house. And all they need is really to get to the back of the, anywhere in the 12 touching the 8 foot, and they should be able to score their 3. It's the first end. Ice is still a little bit new to them. Let's see how well they've learned it, not just from the weight, but from the line. They are going to have to go wide here because it does cut strong, and the last thing they want to do is wreck on that top yellow. So they do have their own blue backing, and they can move it actually about 5 feet. So they can throw it a bit heavy down to that back blue one and use it as a stopper to get the third point. The rock's on its way, and right out of the hand, Wills is really, really going hard, and they're going to have to get it around that top yellow one. They really have to go hard. Even if it's not light, it needs to go to get by. They are easing up, though. They're comfortably by, and it is being swept, but not far enough, we don't think. It may become a measure. Not sure. Looks like the rocks are being kicked. And some conversation happening, but looked like they were in there for 3. Even if it was close, could have left for a measurement. But I think because they started to kick those rocks away, I think Schneider was assuming that was going to rub on the back one, but it actually curled enough to miss. But he started kicking them away, and not sure what the end result is, but looks like it is a score of 2. So, well, we certainly can ask after the game what happened there. I thought he had drawn in for 3, but maybe it had gone too far. Not sure. Nevertheless, what we can tell you is they posted the score, which means they will have agreed to the score. And therefore, we're 2-0 Just Wills at the end of the first end, heading to the second end. Birchard and Schneider will have hammer in this end. And here we go to start off this end. We have Sherry Just, who's going to throw this rock. Sherry Just, she is from the Fox Valley Curling Club in Fox Valley, Saskatchewan, as is Sam Wills. That's where they play out of. This team just forming this year. Sam Wills had played with Mackenzie Schwartz and won the Saskatchewan Mixed Doubles Provincial title last year. So this is a new team, but certainly some pedigree there with Sam Wills and what he's done in Saskatchewan mixed doubles already. And this is probably a chance to break out and play some great competition here at this event, attracting international stars and Canadian stars to play alongside some top Alberta teams and some good club curlers as well. So a nice variety here and a good chance for everyone to compete. But in the end, the winning team will take home $10,000 from the $29,000 per. Second place, $5,000. If you make the playoffs, it's $1,000. And the people who make the playoffs are the top two people in each of the 6 pools. There's 6 teams per pool. 2 of them will advance to the finals that begin with us Friday night at 7 o'clock at the Canmore Curling Club. Then all of the games will move to Banff. The last 3, the semifinal, quarterfinal, and finals, at which time we'll crown that champion. Sherry, Janet Birchard's first throw of this end, coming up a little bit light. Obviously had a really great line. It did end up in the center line, got around the top guard, but not enough weight to carry back, which is where she'd want to be. So a little bit of an advantage going to Justin Wills here if they can use those double guards and come around and sit a second one right on top. My apologies, my producer has just clarified to me. I said that the championships, the first round of playoff will start Friday night at 7. That is actually today, and it won't happen until tomorrow night. So Saturday the 5th is when we begin our championship round at 7 o'clock. My apologies. It wasn't my first mistake and won't be my last. But here we go. We have Just having a really good shot coming down. Sorry, Sam Wills, really good shot. Just is sweeping it hard. I think it'll go around the top blue, but not the top yellow. It's going to crash and spread out a bit. It does still provide some good coverage on that left side for the draw in, which is where their rock is positioned, and gives them a great rock that they can use to advance in the house should they need to later or want to either score the point or make the steal. As you can see from where the broom's being held, in order to get to the button, which is where Birchard wants Schneider to put it, she's holding it just a few inches inside the 12-foot line, so that would indicate 5 3/4 feet curl. We just watched Schneider release it. Nice positive release. He got it out to the broom. So let's see where this ends up, and it'll give us a really good idea of how this ice is curling if he has the right weight. It's starting to cut now. It looks like he's got really good weight, and here it comes. It's coming over well. Did he leave it too long, though? Did he leave it too long? Did he leave it too long? No, just the weight fooled him a bit. It really came down as it came close to the hog line, but a wonderful throw. 3 feet short, but in great position to be used to bump up, and certainly blocking that draw in a little bit for Justin Wills on this side, shortening the chance to get in there. Well, Birchard and Schneider, what do we know about them? They come out of Manitoba. We do know that Shannon Birchard in 2012 and 2013 won 2 back-to-back Manitoba Provincial Junior Girls Champions as a skip. At the Canadians, she did lose in the finals both times, so she's a dual silver medalist at the Canadian Championships after winning the Manitoba Championship, losing both finals. So bit of a heartbreak probably, but at the same point, winning silver is still something to be quite proud of. In 2017, she won the Manitoba Mixed Doubles Championship and lost out at the Canadian Championship in the round of 12. At that time, she was playing with Jason Gunglisson. Of course, now she's playing with Caitlin Schneider. A little bit about Caitlin. He does play second for Team Dunstan. In university, Caitlin was actually a 2-sport athlete. He played wide receiver at university in football, as well as skipping the curling team for the University of Regina. A lot of those people listening out there, I think we're seeing a lot of our athletes here have not only gone to university, but have curled at university. Certainly the curling programs in Canada at the universities are great opportunities to get exposure and get some great competition. So if you're thinking of playing and you're going to university, it's a great chance and a great feeder system into playing competitive curling at the elite level and in the men's game. So something to remember. Anyhow, back to our game here. We've seen a few more shots come down. I think Justin Wills would have liked that one to be either a little heavier and come through the port or top theirs back, but just coming up short. But still, it helps to clog up the area, which is something you want to do when you don't have last rock, and is blocking off some of that yellow rays. It's a little bit harder now for the yellow on yellow. Still available with the amount of curl we have, but a little bit harder. But it won't matter because it does look like Schneider's going to throw some weight down to use it to open this up for them, to give them a little bit more room to play in this end and get some more rocks into that forefoot. Because as we sit right now, Justin Wills are in a steal position with a rock on top of at least half of that back Yellowstone and quite well covered. So Schneider's let it go. He's on it quick for line. Schneider's calling. He's on it quick. He's got to get it by that top blue, and if he wants to get the advancement, I think he's by now. It's really about whether he's got the right angles. Well, not a bad result. It does open up that yellow one to be used. It does line up the other yellow ones to be used, and still we see Wills' last shot there. By coming over, it interfered with that raise. I needed to hit it a little more full to get at the back one, and it didn't, and so we ended up with the situation we have now. Like in most games, lots of rocks in play, lots of different angles, and lots of different opportunity. As we've seen throughout, 3s and 4s are not uncommon. Shots have to be made, but they're available. And every time a shot's thrown, new angles, new situations arise. We see the advantage flash back and forth quite often in these games, just because of the volume of rocks in play. A little miss here or there can really open up a big end or an opportunity. It seems that Justin Wills are calling to do a straight takeout on this yellow on the top. They're recognizing the danger of it, and they want to change that situation. If they can get their blue rock in there, then they feel that that'll give them a better advantage. I think they'd probably even like to get a little bit of an inside roll on this, just so they don't leave a chance to a run back double off of that. So it's coming. She's got him sweeping it. He's sweeping it hard. It is cutting. He's sweeping it hard. He's got to get it by. I think that's going to over curl. Does he get it by? No, it just racked. And oh, not only did it open it up for Caitlin and them to make a shot and maybe a big end, it also missed the shot. So all of a sudden, as we just talked about, big ends can happen and things can change on a throw of a rock, and this could be one of them. Certainly it's a quarter frozen, that back yellow, but you don't mind using the back yellow when you've got 3 other ones up top. I think the throw they want to do here, probably 3/4 of that blue to hit it thick enough to move the yellow out, and also to roll over underneath those top yellows that are all staggered and will make it difficult to make a double for Justin Wills. So big change of events on that miss. Obviously, when you're playing aggressive and trying to make shots and you miss them, these are the types of advantages that can swing, and that's exactly what happened right here. So Schneider's trying to eye up his angle and his spot to aim at. As Birchard gets ready to sweep, they made a decision not to have someone in the house. This is an absolutely important shot, and usually, as we're seeing on these important shots, there's no one holding a broom. It's a sweeper that comes down, because keeping the line will be really important. As you see, Shannon moves over to the other side. And why is she doing that? Because the feeling is they need a directionally curl to hold the rock there on this shot, rather than curling the rock in more. So she's in preparation to be able to sweep against and hold the rock and hold the line as Caitlin fires it down the ice. He's released it. It's getting close. It looks really good. It has to come just a little more. Here it comes. There it goes. She's on it. Looks like he's got a great shot, and there it is. Does hit it nose on, though. And that will leave a shot for Justin Wills to hit and roll themselves. So great shot, but by hitting it nose on and leaving it right there, if they can repeat the shot, they may be able to get out of this end, or at least minimize giving up a big end. So this is a crucial shot right now. Not just to make it, but to get the little bit of a roll. They do not want the nose hit, because a nose hit will leave another nose hit, and again keeps the big end alive for Schneider and Birchard. So up 2-0 after a great first end. Justin Wills and their final shot of the end, which is being thrown by Sherry Just, a chance to get out of a difficult situation that grew into effect when they missed their last shot. So taking a moment to get set, and like we saw with Schneider and Birchard, we have Sam Wills down sweeping, because again, they have to get this perfect. Really, really important shot, not just in this end, but in this game. They want to make sure they stay close. keep their advantage. So he's staying on it, but he's not sweeping yet. Looks like they like it. It's got to curl off that line. Now here it goes. It's off. They've got to get a roll though. Are they by? They are by. They're going to get the roll. Yes, they are. And what a fantastic shot. Oh, that's exactly what they needed. It has rolled enough that I don't think with enough weight can they get to it to move it back to score. Maybe two, but I don't think more than that. They do have an in-off off their yellow or possible raise, but the way that they've staggered in the house and ended up, I don't think they have the slash that might normally be available. They're looking at all the angles, but I really think it's going to have to be a draw in. For one, they might want to take on a backline draw, really skinny to their blue to maybe move it enough to get two. I think it's probably there. The other thing is what they're looking at is a double, a run back double. Of course, the thing is giving up a steal is hard, and it would give Justin Wills a 3-point lead. So whatever shot they choose, going to be a difficult one, but certainly if you had someone you're picking to throw it, I certainly think Shannon Birchard would be one of the ones you would not have a problem having her throw it. She's been very steady, as we saw when she played in the Scotties with Jennifer Jones and helped earn a spot for them to go on and win a World Championship. She certainly is very capable, and this year playing with her new team, the Carrie Einerson team, with a lot of talented players. They've had a tremendous year, and certainly Shannon has played a big part of that. So she's settling in now, and once again, Caitlin's staying down to draw. They're just figuring out the point that she wants to aim at, as well as giving Caitlin a bit of a guideline, so when she lets it go, he knows whether or not it's on track and whether he needs to jump on it or not. And I think you'll see Shannon Birchard call the line when she lets it go, and Caitlin will be sweeping. So he's on it right away, off, on it now, off. It's always a good sign when they're on off. She's got him going hard, here it curls. Does he have it? Did he get by the top one? Yes. What a great shot. What a great shot. So we had a beautiful shot by Sherry Just to get them out of trouble, and Shannon Birchard just turns around and makes an equal shot to put them right back into a 3 spot there. So all smiles for Shannon Birchard, as she should. What a great shot. So there we go. The women putting on a show on this sheet. The women putting on a great show. Some great shot making, and an equally good shot answered by another. Just want to take a moment to thank our sponsors. We have Qualico, who are our major sponsor. Without them, we wouldn't be able to bring you this event. We've got the Malcolm Hotel, Vision Electronics, and Bow Valley Credit Union, our silver sponsors, who are very supportive of our event. We're thankful. A number of curling and local sponsors who contributed in many different ways to help make this event successful. And we really thank you. These local sponsors especially are a big reason why we're able to bring you this event. And they're not just sponsoring us, they are here. They're watching and they're in person. And we want to say thank you to them very much for what they've been doing, not just for us, but for this sport and for mixed doubles. We're trying to grow mixed doubles in this country and make Canada force in it. Of course, we already are, but we want to keep that. We can't ever get settled. And all these sponsors are sponsoring this event and giving these players a place to play and hone their mixed double skills and compete is doing nothing but helping us develop these curlers. So thanks again to all those sponsors. So at the beginning of the third end here, one thing I like about mixed doubles is only 5 thrown rocks. Things happen quick and happen fast. We've got Birchard throwing the first rock for Birchard Schneider, trying to draw it down on top of the blue, and she's got a great rock coming in, maybe a little bit heavy. No, absolutely perfect. Just bumps that out of the 4, sits on top, and is perfectly behind the guard. So really good throw for Shannon to start off. She threw a doozy of a shot at the end of last end, and here she starts this one off with an equally great draw, showing not only that she has the big weight hits, but she also has the touch of the draw. So let's see how Sherry Just can respond to it. Shots underway. We've got Sam Wills sweeping it hard. He's on, he's off. That's always a good sign when sweepers are on and off. He seems to be on it hard now. It looks like he's by the guard. It's just, do they have the weight? She wants to take that right back on top, wants to nestle it frozen solid. Great, great shot. Stayed on the outside of it, was able to move it enough to create separation, also move their blue in out of the pass. So if they are able to get that blue on yellow, it will go by the back blue as well. So another great response from Sherry Just to Shannon Birchard's first shot of the end. So now it's Caitlin Schneider's, his first throw of this end. second for the team. He's got a great line coming down. We're getting used to the path that we're seeing. Needs to curl a bit. That'll all depend on weight. And here it goes. It's starting to come over. If he's got the right weight, it should nestle in right on top of this. A little bump's what they want to move it past. And that's exactly what they got. So really good throw, even though blue's still shot. It is behind the tee line, and yellow's in a great position. Of course, this end, Justin Wills will have the hammer, will have the last shot. So right now, as we know, until your fourth stone, the fourth stone of the end, you can't remove any rocks. So a lot of the stones are drawn around to try and set up positioning of them for later in the end to be used. And right now, no distinct advantage for anyone, but certainly great shot making and positioning. Let's see if Sam Wills can respond to Caitlin Schneider just like his partner Sherry just did to Shannon Birchard's first throw. So it's released, it's out there. Certainly on the path. It looks a little bit heavy though. It looks like Sherry's getting on outside to try and help sweep it over if she can, but this one seems to be staying out, which would lead us to believe it's a bit heavy. Wants to catch a bit of this so it doesn't go sailing through. And he will. Does improve the yellow stone though, and does leave the blue there for easy pickings. But I think what Caitlin and Shannon are going to do is ignore that one and try and sink one right on top. They have two yellows right now in behind. If they can put this one right on top, it's going to put them in a very enviable position with all that backing and that center line guard. So really important shot for Catlin here to set the end up, and let's see how he does. Catlin set, there he goes. We saw a lot of big weight shot earlier. Let's see how his touch is on this shot. Nice clean release, some good positive handle on that, which is important on swingy ice. If you get too lazy, that's when the rock can just take off. So when you get on swingy ice, curl like we have of 6 feet, you need a positive release with more rotations than normal. Normally we look for 3, maybe 3.5 rotations on regular club ice, but here you're wanting to get 4 to 5 in order to keep the line and not lose the handle. And what a throw, exactly where he wanted to throw it, and he threw it there, no sweeping needed. They are set up really, really well. It'll be very difficult to get these out. We'll take at least 2 shots to get these yellow ones out. So we're going to see whether they want to run the top guard back in to open up as well, or just try and come down and start bumping them with draw weight and keeping their own rocks in the house. Because certainly blue, one thing they do have going is they do have 3 rocks in the house. And as we saw last end, when you have rocks hanging around, it takes a miss or an inadvertent poor shot, and all of a sudden there's a chance for a big end. So always have to be wary when there's lots of rocks in the house, that if the angles start to set up wrong, you can get a big end or set your opponents up for an opportunity. But here we go, Sam Wills making a great attempt down here to try with a little bit of weight to jiggle these around and keep his blue rock on top and in play. So we got Sherry's down calling line. Sam's ready, he's waiting, starting to make a move. Here it comes, it's starting to come over. It looks like a really good throw. She's got him sweeping. Here it comes, absolutely perfect throw. Let's see what the end result is. Got rid of the backing of one, puts himself on top, and cleared away some of the backing. So an absolutely great positioning here for Justin Wells. Certainly though, we still have Birchard and Schneider sitting shot, and certainly a lot of rocks still to come. I like what they're looking to call here. They were originally talking about maybe playing off that outside blue, but with the blue rock on top, that really may not make an advantage. So I like the look at coming as a draw on the outside left and sinking one right in on top of that blue, and really taking control of the button area. And making it hard for Justin Wills to score. In this game, often a good offense is your best defense, because when you start trying to hit, there's usually too much going on and too many opportunities available to the other team. So a lot of times it's the soft, aggressive, offensive calls that gets you out of a situation or creates a greater advantage for you. And we're going to see now on this other side of the ice if Catlin Schneider can duplicate the shot he threw on this side, a draw right down, a perfect freeze on top of that blue one, which would put them in a very, very enviable position. It looks a little light. He's jumped on it hard. Shannon's not calling for line, but he is definitely sweeping that for weight. Looks good though. It's coming in. Does he have it? Does he have enough? How far can he drag it? It's about to come into view here. Here it comes. It looks like he's got another great shot. Wow. That is an absolutely great shot. It does leave a chance though. If you hit that blue one hard, that yellow, I think it'll squeeze the other yellow out. But of course, as you see, Just Will is showing, he has a chance to come down and hit that yellow onto the yellow, and it might spin out over top. At this point, they have to start getting some things moving because the control of that button area is certainly owned by Schneider and Birchard, who are trying to steal in this point. But, as we said, 4 blue rocks are in the house, and if you get some things moving, good opportunity to maybe score a multiple here. So nothing decided yet, but certainly a lot of opportunities on both sides. It does look like the final call here. Wills wants to run that yellow one straight back into the pack and hopefully make the yellows start moving at the same time as he gets rid of that yellow guard. One thing as we get ready to watch this rock be thrown, we should tell you a little bit about Catlin. He comes from a family of curlers. Catlin's dad played in the 1990 Brier with 3 of his uncles. His sister Lorraine played in the 2017 Scotties, and his cousins Kim and Tammy Schneider won the 2011 Scotties and played at the 2011 World. So certainly Catlin and family are no strangers to competition, and he has a lot of people he can lean or call on if he needs any support or any questions about the game. Certainly a family of curlers, and he's followed well in that path, playing at a high level now on Team Dunstan, of course, with mixed doubles with a great curler in Shannon Birchard. So Justin Wills removing the top yellow, which is a good play. It opens up a lot more options for them, not having that guard blocking it up. Hate to throw a rock away doing that, but it was a smart play. They do have last rock, and they will want to have a shot at the end of this end to at least score one or minimize the damage, and that's a lot easier if there isn't something in the way. But before they have a chance to do that, Birchard and Schneider are going to have a chance to put another one in there and create a really difficult situation for it. Right, we just want to give a bit of a shout out there. We're watching our comments as they come in. We have Karen Wojciech, who is cheering for Birchard and Schneider, so certainly she has to be pleased with not just the score, but what's setting up for them this end, and of course the way Shannon's been playing and throwing last rock. She has to be pleased with what she's seeing. So thank you very much, Karen, and hopefully you're enjoying the game, and thank you for watching, and thank you for sharing those comments. So Shannon's let it go. As we said, they're trying to get it down. He's right on it. Catlin's right on it, but he's starting to ease up, which again, as we say, when they do that, it's often a good sign. It means that on and off again means they like what's happening. It's really curling over, which is what they want. They're trying to get an angle on this. And let's see what's happened. Well, that's a great shot. As you can see in the close-up there, what's happened is they've changed the angles. The blue now, if they hit the yellow, is probably going to squirt out to the right, and I don't think it'll hit enough or can't get to the crotch of those yellows to try and get rid of them all. So very difficult situation here. I don't think they can run that yellow and blue and get it. The drag effect will be there because they are very close, but still a bit of distance to cover. So it'll be interesting to see if they play that. It'll be a good example of the drag effect to see if it can pull it over or if it shoots it too far sideways. The other option is just to pick that blue one across, but I don't see where that helps them in any way. They really have to get a couple of these yellow rocks moving to try and at least only give up a steal of one, because I think that's what they're facing now. It'll be hard for them to score. I think they're trying to minimize the damage, and if they can somehow get 2 of them moving, they might be able to just give up a steal of 1. Of course, the risk is if they well, there really isn't another risk. I don't see how you bring another yellow rock into play. There's too many blues and counting. So we're going to have a bit of a hit shot here to try and get some things moving, and I think try and just force a steal of 1 and move to the next end and get things set up. So they're just lining up the angles and figuring out how they're going to approach it, and then we'll see this shot come out. As we were saying, Catlin is from a family of curlers and some great pedigree there. Catlin also in 2016 and 2017 played in 2 Canadian mixed doubles championships with then partner Nancy Martin. Of course, now teaming up, as we can see in our broadcast, with Shannon Birchard. So Catlin's been playing for a few years in the Canadian mixed doubles and has some experience, so not new to him. A number of teams we've talked to, not a number, but certainly some of the teams, especially the top Albertans and some of the Canadians, it is either their first time together or they've only played in a few events. events. So something new to them, but we are excited to hear a number of these players are trying this because they're trying to see if mixed doubles is something they want to get more into. We're seeing with a lot of the European nations that they're actually creating teams that are specializing in mixed doubles, and we heard that in the Fowler and Fowler interview earlier. If you didn't see it, then certainly you can listen to it. Wow, what an absolute great shot by Sherry Just. Here I'm thinking they can only get out of it by giving up a steal of one, and she throws a heater very accurately, removes all the stones, and leaves herself counting one. Wow, what an absolutely great shot. Way to see the angles and to make them happen. But even if you see them with weight like that and not really much sweeping available to you or line calling, it calls on precision execution and shot making. And Sherry Just, for the second end in a row with her last rock, makes an absolute doozy shot. Congratulations. Of course, she's curling directly head-to-head against Shannon Birchard in their first and fifth zone, and Shannon herself has been curling excellent. So these ladies are putting on a fabulous performance, taking nothing away from the shot making of the gentlemen, but with those last rocks, we're seeing some great finishes to these ends and a really exciting game. We've seen top-notch shots, and as a result, after 3 ends, we are tied 3-all playing the fourth end, and we will begin with Sherry Just's first shot. She will again try to draw around that center line guard and put it right on the top of the button with her throw. And as we've seen so often, Wills will not wait down and give her a line. They've already determined during practice in the first few ends the different spots to aim at. He'll come down and help sweep because it's more important they get by the guard, but also they get it into the house to be a very successful usable rock. Sherry's now come out. Nice, clean, positive release. Let's see what they think about weight. Wills is on it right away. However, it still looks pretty good. It is starting to curl hard, though. It's going to have to go to get this by the guard because it's starting to take off early. Oh, she's got really good weight, so they're by the guard now, and here it comes. Wanting to settle in, and I think she has another brilliant shot. So first the heavy heater for a triple takeout to take one, then she calmly settles into the hack and draws the pin with her next shot. Of course, great weight judgment by Sam Wills. All these shots are not individual shots. They take partnership, they take great communication, and mixed doubles really shows that out because it is a two-person team, and it comes great communication, sweeping and throwing in order to make these shots. So certainly as Sherry Just is curling great, it is a team thing, and Sam Wills is a big part of the shot making, just like Catlin Schneider is, as he turns over to help sweep this one in or sweep against it to hold the line. And Shannon Birchard is making great shot. Hi, welcome back. We just had a question, so I had to jump out quickly there to answer the question. And it's a good question for mixed doubles. I'll share it with you because it's always good for our viewers to have a chance to learn while they watch and enjoy a game. We just had a question whether or not we could change the placement of the guards for a team that felt that maybe it was we could move it in order to reposition that starting stone so that they'd have a better chance to get around it. In mixed doubles, the committee before the beginning of any event has the option to determine where that spot will be that they'll use. When they determine that spot, that will stay that way during the round robin games. When they get into the championship, they do have the opportunity, if they feel the ice has changed and there's less curl or more curl, to move that spot. Those spots that are marked out there, the first one's 4.5 feet in front of the house, the second marking is 7.5 feet, and the next one's 10.5 feet. So there are, for the committee, 3 different spots that they can choose to put the stone out in front of the house for the starting guard. And I say there's 3 spots, there's actually 6, because when you place those stones, the committee can determine to put it on the back end of that spot or the front of the spot. For this competition, we've chosen spot 2. Spot 2 is on the top of the first marker, which is 4.5 feet out in front of the house. So we have advised that we can't change it, but certainly the committee, if it feels over the course of these 3 days of round robin that it needs to be adjusted, we certainly can. But right now, the position remains the same, and we'll return back to our game. As we said, 3-all playing the fourth end, the final end of the first half of this game. We've got Sherry Justin Sam Wills from the Fox Valley Curling Club in Fox Valley, Saskatchewan, up against Shannon Birchard and Caitlin Schneider, both out of Manitoba. And it's been a tight game so far. Wonderful shot making, great for the audiences and great for the fans that are here watching it. And certainly Sherry Just with the support of Sam Wills and Shannon Birchard with the support of Caitlin Schneider, making tremendous shots at the end to change things around and make it really exciting. But right now we've got Sam Wills settled in. He's trying to draw down on top of the situation that is there in the top of the house. If he can get it in there in the crotch of those two yellows, it'll be very difficult to remove and give them a great chance of getting a steal. Both of them are at it. The line is coming in perfect. The weight looks really great. Just needs to curl a little bit and sit down. This looks like a doozy. And there you have it. That rock is going nowhere. There is not a chance to squeeze that through any holes, and when you hit it, it's going to stay. So certainly creating a bit of a predicament for Caitlin and Shannon, because there is that blue guard out front that's protecting the right side of it, which would be the ideal side to try and hit it on. So they're just going to try and throw down and jiggle these around and stay on top. Certainly they'll lose one of their yellows, but it'll then make it more accessible to get rid of that blue in the future. So we're going to see a bit of a tap shot on this and hopefully sit right on top and then say over to you, Wills and Just. Catlin's out of the hack right now. He's letting it go. We'll get a sense in a moment from Shannon if she thinks the line's good. And there we go. Shannon's calling hard for the sweep, and he does have to go hard. It's starting to come across, but I think he's got it by. He does, but they do want to get the right angle on this hit, so he's well by, and looks like a great, great shot. And there you go. They've opened up that hole now so that they can punch it through back. And again, Justin Wills have to be a little bit careful here because we have a lot of rocks starting to pile up in this house for yellow, and yellow does have the last rock. Just a reminder to all those people watching, hopefully you're enjoying it. If there's any questions you might have for players that we can ask during our interviews, or any questions of what's going on in the game or the game of mixed curling, or any questions at all about Banff and skiing conditions or how beautiful it is here or what we serve for breakfast, any of those questions, please send through your comments and we would be glad to answer them when we get a moment. And we just appreciate you joining us and sharing your time, and hopefully you're enjoying it, and hopefully you'll get some great curling. And those who have been with us for this whole game have certainly seen a lot of great curling, a lot of great strategy too. This has been a great game to learn a little bit from, watching how they're playing the angles and shots. And of course when they execute it, it makes it easier to see what they were thinking about, and that's exactly what's happening here. We're getting some great execution from all the players. So here we go. Looks like Justin Wills are considering, could they just come down and sit on top of that yellow one, and or is it a little bit of a worry that they might be able to make a play and get rid of a bunch of their blues? So going to wait and see what they call. And Justin Wills, of course, are playing the blue stones, and they do not have hammer. Schneider and Birchard playing the yellow stones, and they are in possession of hammer. So Justin Wills are sitting one, but lots to come in this end, and certainly lots of rocks from both colors in there, and it doesn't take much to create a bit of a change. So we'll wait and see what can happen here. So Sam Wills has let go. He's immediately on it sweeping, but he's off again. That's always a good sign, as we say. He's on, he's off, and he's getting ready to go on. And Sherry Just is calling line. She thinks she's got it. I think they want to just chip off that top yellow one, but it looks like they're going to punch their own blue and leave a situation here that Shannon Birchard moved to quite quickly to see, do we have a chance to get rid of all three? Can we make everything move? And certainly, I don't think they can get rid of all three, but they certainly can get rid of two and leave a lone blue rock amongst what would be five yellow rocks, and of course they do have last rock yellow, so I think a great call to try and remove two of those. If nothing else, they're creating a situation where a lot of rocks are stemming up in their favors. So Justin Wills still sitting in a good position right now, sitting two, but that position I don't think will remain that way for very much longer. Shannon Birchard is looking for her slider. I think she wants to go and sweep, and now she finds it actually out on the ice. So electing to go down, and another important shot, and she will try and guide this rock with her sweeping right to, I think they're just looking for a nose hit. Nose hit means the top blue one will roll back across, and they may not get all the way across the face of the yellow. It'll probably bounce and spin up, but probably expose it to be removed in a future shot if Justin Wills can't make a really good response to Catlin's shot here. So I think we're going to see some heat here, trying to remove at least two stones and get the third one moving to a position that's less dangerous for them. So we're all settled. Here comes the shot. Shannon's ready to sweep. Catlin will call line, and the shot is on its way. Okay, he's on it. They like it. No, yes, no, yes. Here we go. I think it's by. Let's see what happens. It just caught it a little bit too heavy. He wanted to get across the rock a little more. Still a good shot. Leaves him in a good position, but right now it looks like it's going to be 3 yellow that they're facing, so it actually worked out a ton better. It does look like it's 3 yellow, but the angles are not always perfect for us to see, so certainly not the situation that Justin Wills wanted to see. But if you look at the situation, I think if they can hit really hard a quarter of that top, or 3/4 probably of that top yellow, they can get all 3 moving and at least 2 of them out of there. And at this point in time, I think it'd be good for them to try and get some of those moving. So I think if they can get just anywhere less than a half or half, they'll certainly make them all move. And I think that top yellow will spin underneath that blue and over the back blue and get safely out. So an opportunity here for them to get rid of a couple rocks. It might sail over top of that other yellow on the right side, just because the fact that they're not that overlapped, those 2 top yellows. But getting rid of 2 yellows would leave a chance maybe for 2, but should erase the chance for a big end, which is what's setting up right now. So really important shot here. But as we've seen, end after end in the 5th row by Sherry Just, she has come to play, and she is making shots. So here we go. Can she do it again for the team? Can she show it? And Sam Wills providing the sweeping. Can he hold it on line? So really important shot, and Sherry's just sitting down to throw it. Let's see if once again she can pull a great shot out for this team. He's on it quick. He's on it really, really quick. Needs to get on it quick. Needs to get a lot of this rock, a lot less of this rock if he can. And, well, not the absolute result they wanted. Did hit it a little bit too thick. Didn't quite move the top yellow one far enough. I think that we're going to find out that yellow is actually sitting 2. Excuse me. But we're going to wait and see what happens. We'll get an indication. It looks like we're not going to know. Well, if they throw a draw, then that's what they're looking to think. So it looks like they want to just play a draw and take a chance on the measure. They're not sure. They do have a chance to hit if they don't think it's shot, but drawing in at least would give you 2 and possibly 3. And sometimes you can spend a lot of time and not really be so exact because they're so widespread around, and that pin is not always perfectly centered. So sometimes what looks to be a little bit closer when you put a measure on it is, and a lot of times these players will check that pin at the beginning of the game to get a sense of whether it's favoring one side or the other. So we've seen that in our games, and we have seen it before and talked about before where those pins can be a little bit off. But looks like Schneider wants her to play a hit on the back one for the 3rd or 2nd point, depending on how it ends up. Shannon indicated at the beginning a draw, but it looks like they're going to settle on this hit. I guess the good thing with the hit is if it over curls, there's a chance of rubbing off the other blue one in the house and staying in. So looks like they're going to do the intern hit on the back blue one. If it's executed successfully, then they'll have 2 for sure and possibly 3 on a measure or a concession. So Shannon's out. She's thrown it. Catlin's right on it, but he's off. Just guiding it down. He's on it. Looks like they're really comfortable with line. It does have to curl a little bit, though, but here it comes. She's got really good controlled rate, and as she's done all game, perfect shot. There it is. So 2 for sure. Let's see what they decide. Are they going to measure? Looks like the way they've kicked it out, they're going to want to measure. At least Catlin's saying, I'm good for the measure. Let's see what Justin will say. Are they going to concede it or go to the measure? It's... Well, we found the measuring device, so Catlin's going to take it out. And as we do in this event, we do have officials that are here to help the players and guide the whole competition. But we want the officials to be, well, let's say as invisible as possible. So we do let the players do all their last stone draws. We do let the players do all their own measurements. And certainly if there is any predicament or any uncertainty or any cause to get some second opinion, the officials will get involved. But so far so good. Only a couple of questions and all of it's been received well. And here we go again. The players will make their own determination and we'll do all the work in making that determination. So we've measured the blue. As we look from overhead, the needle did move a little bit. It's going to come across the yellow, and it seems to move more, but let's see. They may want to do it again. They're just checking that it's in there. As we've talked about, that pin is not an exact science, and it is ice, and it can move. So they're going to go by again and get a rub. We've got another reading on that. Can't quite see from the overhead, and my eyesight isn't that great, but I'm coming back around. I'm going to check that blue out again. Let's see, how much does it move? It looks close, but yellow looks like the indication, and yellow it is. So certainly worthwhile measuring because you never know, but it does look like it is going to be yellow. So, sorry, it's going to be blue. So yellow's only going to get their 2 points. And that means that Shannon Birchard will lead us off this end again, and they'll set it up at the other end. And Justin Wills will get the hammer back, although having given up 2 points. So we are here after the halfway point, 4 ends, where it is now 5-3, Birchard and Schneider over Justin Wills. But a well-curled game, some great shot making, and certainly a fun game to watch. All right, the rocks are set up. As we said, we're using position 2. That's the top end of 4.5 feet out. And of course, the other rock is positioned back of the 4. So Shannon Birchard will try to come around her rock, which is the rock out front, and nestle right on top of Justin Will's rock that's placed in the back 4, or well, hopefully not right on top. I think they like to either bump it back or sit on top in the top 4. Again, Shannon seems to have a great shot. They seem to have really figured out this ice because they're getting the rocks right in position and certainly have good weight. And there we go. Once again, just like clockwork, I think we could play back 2 ends ago and see the exact same shot. Moves it just over a foot to the back of the 4 and sits on top. Of course, that rock is still behind the tee line, so it gives Sherry just a chance to come right down on top of that, and again, herself bump it back on a bit of an angle. Don't want to bump it straight back because then that'll be frozen on the blue and hard to get out later. So she does want to get a bit of an angle on this bump and move it a bit to the side, but does then want to sit there. They've got to go hard to get it by this guard. It looks like she's a bit light, and I think she's going to crash on that front guard. So she does, but because she had good weight, it does roll into the house. It does give blue one more rock in that house, and something that Birchard and Schneider will have to be a little bit wary of, but they're going to choose to keep the offense going, do the exact same draw around. Schneider questioning whether they want to play it, but Birchard just brushing him off quickly, and Catlin agreeing, and here he goes. He's going to try and just duplicate the shot he threw a little bit lighter because they want a little bit higher in the house. Basically the same shot. So he's out on the line. He's in sweeping. And Shannon's talking to him, so I think it has to be something to do with line, but he's certainly sweeping. There we go. Looks like he's got great line. That's going to get by the guard. Now it's about weight. How much weight does he have, and where's that going to end up? Can he drag it back into that 4 foot like they want and over? And here it comes. Here it comes, just a little bit light for what he wanted, so a little bit of an opportunity here for Wills to either draw around to that yellow one or come in off their own blue one. We'll wait and see which way they want to come. Well, it looks like they're going to come around on the side of their own. I like that strategy only because if it doesn't curl enough or they're a little bit heavy and out, they can get a rub off their own and over. So I like this call. I like coming this way. If they came from the right side and any of that happened, then there wouldn't be any of that opportunity. But this looks to be a little bit inside. I don't know if he's going to get it by that top yellow one. It is really curling, and Shannon's out to take advantage of that and sweep it away. So not what they wanted, but the only good thing out of that for Justin Wills is that they did get the front opened and something they can work on. I'd like to apologize. I did say that there was only 2 last end, but in fact it is 3 for Shannon Birchard. The Yellowstone that was closest was that belonging to Shannon Birchard and Caitlin Schneider. I mistakenly thought that was the Wills and Just rock, but no, Wills and Just being blue, should have caught that. So it was a 3-point last end, and so it is 3, so it's 6-3. But as we've seen throughout the week, throughout the draws, and even in this game, getting 3 points is not something that is out of the question. In fact, it's a common thing in this game. Certainly 2s are very common. Well, as we watch Caitlin throw this draw down, now let's give you some updates on the other sheets. As we look over to sheet 1, where we have Perot and Rios playing Anderson and Dropkin, we see that Pro and Rios enjoy a 3-2 advantage. We haven't seen what happened in 4 yet. It has been marked up, but it's 3-2 after 3 from what we can see. Sliding over to sheet 2, where Caitlin Laws and John Morris are playing Sterling and Kingman. Caitlin Laws and John Morris seem to have a bit of a command on this, scoring 2s in the first, scoring 1 in the first, 2 in the third, and 2 in the fourth to lead this one 5-2. Kingman and Sterling getting 2 in the second end offset. When we look over at sheet 4, we've got Drever and Bernie, who build up a quick 5-0 lead. However, we've got Silcox and Kirak, who have come right back and taken 2 and stolen 2. And as a result, right back in this game, and Bernie and Drever are up 5-4, but end with hammer. But certainly the last 2 ends have been owned by Silcox and Kirak. Back to our feature game. We see that yellow has got 2 rocks in great position in the 4-foot, another one guarding it on the 8-foot, and looks like Justin Wills are going to come down and try and make a hit and get all these yellow rocks moving. So playing off that top one in the 8, waiting to sweep. Looks like it's coming in nice. Needs to come a little more for him though to make some action on those back ones, and great shot. Great shot. Moves those yellows around, exposes that one in the open. And even though yellow's got an advantage in the house, certainly with last rock, this will give them a chance to hopefully at least get the single, if not generate some more. So really good throw there and clearing it open and removing some of the rocks. It looks like Caitlin wants to remove that blue and sit 3, because as we've seen before, you leave rocks hanging around in this game, they can often come back to bite you. So we are... yeah, we're sitting here at 6-3 after the 5 ends, after the 4 ends, sorry, playing in the 5th end. And here it comes, Caitlin wasting no time and throwing lots of weight. Of course, the reason you throw lots of weight, if it happened over curl, he would want to make sure that it hit the blue out as well as the yellow, but that extra weight just glided outside and took his own out. Well, that changes things a lot here. That gives a great opportunity for Justin Wills to remove the other yellow and sit 2. So a bit of a mistake there, going from having total advantage chance to sit 3 and force to now giving up the chance to give up 2 to Justin Wills. So Justin Wills will be happy with that and give them a great chance to score late in this 6th end. When you start throwing a little bit of extra weight, if you set that out a bit, it doesn't come back. And that one just seemed to stay out, if not drop out a little more. So I understand the big weight. The big weight was to make sure if it was a nose hit that it got rid of everything, but that's the risk with it. So chance for Sam Wills here. Oh, I think he might have done the same thing. He got a little bit extra weight, and that is hanging out. He may have just returned the favor. He's got to curl enough to catch a piece. Will he at least catch? Yes, he will. I'll get a piece, but I think it'll go out. So we're seeing here, if you get a little bit of extra weight on that outward turn, it is staying out there. So, a real good opportunity to take advantage of there, and they just gave it back. So, we did hear that the Fowlers had a blank end in Canmore. We saw that Carey and Hodgson had a blank end. They're not very common, but we might be setting up to see that here. Of course, Shannon Birchard and Caitlin Schneider will want to make a hit and roll and force here. But first and foremost, they want to make a hit. Looking over quickly at sheet one, where we have Jenny Perot and Peter Rios and Anderson and Dropkin. Anderson and Dropkin scored 2. That's the American team, scored 2 in 5. So we're all tied up over there at 4. Swiss against the U.S. in that game. So we'll keep an eye on it. All right, Birchard's let it go, and Schneider is right on it to hold it. He's directionally sweeping against that rock, trying to hold it in place. He seems to be doing a great job, and yes, he has. There we go, nose hit, and now that'll leave up the Wheels and Just to hit and stick for the one, or to hit and roll out to blank the end. Something that's different though in mixed curling over regular curling. If you blank an end, you do not retain the hammer. When you blank an end, you actually give the opposing team the chance to take the hammer, and as they say, it's an option, but it really isn't. People take the hammer because the hammer gives you an advantage. So there is no advantage to blanking. So many of these situations, that's why we get the singles, is you're not trying to blank an end because there's no advantage. You don't retain the last rock. So here we go. We've got Sherry just trying to come down on this, make a hit. She's got actually 6 feet either way that she can roll, and in doing that can then get their single. So the rock's underway, and Wills is sweeping hard. The rock looks really good, though. I think they're going to be fine. He's holding it there really good. Good weight. And as we've seen all game, Sherry Just is just on her game. All right, as we set up for the 6th end, as I call it, the pivotal end. If you can score in 6, you get to score in 6 and 8, hopefully, and force in 7 gives you 2 scores to your opponent. So even though you can be down, having 2 scores to 1 gives you a great chance to get back in. But Schneider and Birchard will have the hammer here. As we just posted up, our sponsors, I want to say a big thank you to them. Qualico, our major sponsor. We have Bow Valley Credit Union. We have Visions Electronic, and we have the Malcolm Hotel, our silver sponsors, and many local businesses and curling groups that have helped us here. And the towns, Town of Banff and Town of Canmore, have been very supportive in many ways as we use their facilities here in Banff, the Fenland Recreational Center, and of course in Canmore, just with a great relationship being a golf and curling club. It's a big community hub, and Town of Canmore very supportive of that facility as well. Back to our game, Sherry just throwing just another great shot. Coming around the guard, over curling in fact, but moving that yellow one back into the back 8 and sitting in the 4. Well exposed and creating a bit of a back boundary, but now Shannon Birchard's going to try and draw around and put one, I would say, just on top button. She looks to have great line, great rotation, and really good weight. Looks like Catlin's going to help this one. He's moving along, but he's quite comfortable with the weight. He's not going hard, but here he goes now as he tries to guide it over and guide it back. She has another bullet in there. Shannon Birchard just putting on a clinic for us right here. Great shot, and again, great sweeping. Those shots are not just made out of the hand of the thrower. They're also made with the subtle touch of the sweepers. So teaming up together, Birchard and Schneider making a great shot and sitting in good position here early in the end, but it's now Now Sam Wills' first shot. He has a chance to come right down on top of that, get a bit of a corner freeze, and set themselves up. And he's coming around it the right way to the left. If he was to come around from the right, get a corner freeze, and any movement on that rock would move the yellow into their blue. Coming this way, it allows movement. If they can get to a corner freeze on this top yellow, then they can get rid of both yellows if they can make contact with the blue. This one looks like it's going to over curl, but I think it'll get by the guard, and it's going to come down on the inside face of this yellow one. In fact, it's going to curl right by it. It's not going to make contact. Just goes to show you how much curl we have going on here. The only good thing there is a hit on that rock can jam on the back one, but I like Shannon's thought here. Just draw down into the crotch of that. If you bump them a little bit, it's great, but it will give you great control and be very difficult for the other team to get their rock into the best position. Well, we haven't said thank you yet to everybody who's helped us out. Might as well give another thank you. We've got Saxby Young, who is our producer. He's the one who's put together the whole show. He's put together the overhead camera link. He's put together this link. He's put together our introduction and our meet the teams and all this stuff you're seeing. He's even put together the wrong score that you saw earlier of 6-4, but he's now corrected it. But he's done a great job here. And really the reason we're able to provide you this streaming is because of all of his great work. And I can tell you, I haven't seen him go to bed before midnight getting this set up, but a great dedication and certainly something. Saxby is a university student at Arcad University in Helsinki in Finland, home for the holidays and taking media and directing and certainly putting his skills to use. And we're really thankful he came home for Christmas, and we hope he'll come home next year for Christmas as we keep this game going and we keep improving what we're doing with the technology, because certainly he's very skilled at it. So thank you, Saxby. Thank you for what you put together for us and for making this available. And of course, as we mentioned, Paul Studeman, who joined us in an earlier draw, he's away, wasn't able to be at the event, but he did help Saxby with some of the technical stuff in the wiring, and a shout out to Paul who supported him there. And we've got Rob, the IT guy in Canmore, who last night, if you joined us, was helping us there when we had a little issue with the overhead camera, and he's got that all wired up and a big part of getting us set up in Canmore. So a lot of people behind the scenes that are doing a lot of great things here, and it's really helping bring this to everybody beyond just those that can make it to Banff and Canmore to see this great curling. Well, getting back to our game here, Birchard and Schneider are in good position, but so are Justin Wills. Some great shot making and lots of rocks in play means that at every turn and every shot seems that another team has a bit of an advantage. It's making for a lot of fun and a lot of good viewing. You can dream up your own situation, see what the pros are calling, and watch how it all plays out. So looks like from the overhead and what we're seeing, they want to play that yellow one, top yellow one, on an angle off of that blue one, removing it and sliding it across and popping the other blue one out and sitting there lying two, having gotten rid of two of the dangerous stones. They're not settled on that shot, but it was certainly one that they were looking at. We'll see though what they end up wanting to do. Now they might want to drive that blue one straight back into the yellows. Again, not sure. But one thing that is for sure, it's been decided that Shannon is going to need to sweep, so off she goes to get her gripper so that she can run alongside with this, as she'll be going quite fast, it looks like, as it looks like a hit. Often teams, that we've seen throughout this event, when they're throwing a hit, they have the person not stay in the house but come down and sweep. Obviously, when you're throwing a hit, you're taking a spot pretty close to the rock. A lot easier to aim, I would say, and gives you a little bit of an opportunity then to have your additional person sweep rather than holding the broom. And here we go. Caitlin firing one right down as he's done a few ends already. Looks like he's running this top blue one back. It needs to curl, though. It needs to curl. It's not coming over. Oh! Oh, wow. Wow, not, I think, exactly what he had hoped. I think he was hoping to hit the yellow one. This gives a great chance. So Justin Wills are able to remove that yellow and lie 4 and put themselves in a great position. The good thing going for Schneider and Birchard, of course, is the fact that they own the last rock. We haven't seen the score put up at the other end. It will go up, showing that in this, no, yep, we'll show that it is up. As we play the 6th end, we see that Justin Wills scored last time. So having the last rock for Birchard and Schneider is going to mean that even though it doesn't look that great for them, and they may be facing 4 at some point in this end, they are able, with an open front, get in there and make a play to get their point. So that's the good point of that shot. They did remove the danger rock, being that center line guard opening it up, but in doing so they have given Justin Wills a chance to get 4 good rocks in play in a very good position and make it very difficult for Birchard and Schneider to generate their points. Let's see, Sam's going to come down. He isn't taking that out, surprisingly. He is going to just draw down on top of it. So let's see how this works out. Let's see where he's able to put it. Obviously fearing that that center line was not enjoyed by Birchard and Schneider. Looks like they're trying to come down and take advantage on their own. Just put one in on top. It looks like it's going to hit it. They're going to want to sweep that back and out of there if they can. So, well, a good throw. It removes the yellow. It leaves them sitting 4. Does leave the yellow one around. Not that there can be a quadruple hit play, but you never know what can happen, especially with the ability of Catlin with the weight that he can throw. If he can get it online, he can get a lot of granite moving. Looks like they're aiming towards making that top double and sticking around, which would leave 2 yellows in play, but blue counting 2 with Justin Wills coming up next. But they're giving some good look to this, seeing what all the options are, and in a moment we're going to find out what the selection is. Oh, we just want to let our viewers know that at 4:30 we'll be over in Canmore. As soon as this game's over, we'll be packing up and making the mad dash. It's not snowing as hard today. The highway should be clear, so we should be able to get there in a decent time. It is about a 20 to 22 minute drive from here to get from rink to rink. We'll be setting up there. Darren Cook and his team, John Chiarelli in the lounge. We're looking forward to getting back with them for the 4:30 and 7 o'clock draw. Always great crowds in Canmore and great members, and certainly great support from the team there. So I'd like to say hi to them over there. We know that they set the live streaming up so they can see what's happening in Banff. And we look forward to joining that crew and that great excitement over there for the last 2 draws of the day. But first, we're going to finish up with this draw here, and we're going to come back to Catlin's shot as he tries to generate some opening here for them for the last shot for Shannon. So here we come, another high heater coming right down, trying to move these 2 rocks. Hopefully he's sticking around. He's going hard. She's going hard. Oh, that rock jammed. That jammed on them. And as we see, when we got rocks sticking around the back of the house, these are the things that can happen. So really nice play by Justin Wills to just tap that yellow one back. By it staying in play, they've actually generated an opportunity to not give up more than 1 by removing this yellow and sitting for 3. Certainly Shannon will have a shot in the way she's been shot making. That's usually all she needs. She'll have an in-off off the out blue, or maybe a double, and we'll see. But first, Justin Wills have to remove this yellow rock and roll over towards the center to make Shannon's shot as hard as they want. They do want to at least cover part of that blue rock so she doesn't have a straight hit. And that rock being covering the button means that it'll be hard to even draw down into it. So if they can make a great shot and roll over on top, it'll be very hard for them to score, even with the great talent that Shannon Birchard has. So Sherry Just, it's her turn. She's been curling phenomenally, or I should say just curling phenomenally. Here we go, relying on her to make another shot. And Sam, of course, been providing great sweeping to all the shots that have been happening there. And the shot's out. Sam is going hard on it. He's going really hard, has to hold it. Seems like he's doing it. He's getting great guidance from Sherry. She's got him sweeping it hard. They do want it to stick around. They don't want to leave the open shot. Still, absolutely great shot there. Did what she needed to do. Does leave Shannon a nice, easy hit to just stay there and get her 1, but you still got to make the shot. Shannon's had a tremendous game so far, and Catlin a really strong sweeper. So the duo should be set up to make this shot, but they are coming against 4, a lot of pressure, but both of these players have shown that pressure is something they deal with day in and day out when they play in these high level competitive events. So looking forward to seeing what we're doing. So Shannon settles right down in the hack here. Job is simple. come straight down and hit that one on the button and stay right there. She does have some catchers on the right side if it does overcurl, but does need to get at least to the inside of that. Does not want to be on the outside, and Catlin is going hard on this. He's going really hard to keep it there. It's going to overcurl, but he's got that catcher in the blue on the right, so should be fine. And absolutely, once again, Shannon Birchard showing why she is one of the top women curlers in this game. Another great shot, and Catlin showing why he's tremendous in the front end. Some great powerful sweeping to hold it there. So team of Schneider and Birchard scoring their one. They'll retain, or they'll, I guess, gain back their 3-point lead. They're now going to be up 7-4, and we're heading into the 7th end. Justin Wills will have last rock hammer when we start this end. Well, here we go. This is a really exciting part of the game when one team calls the power play. The power play is when we move the rocks out to the side. As we've said earlier in this game, we are using position 2, 4.5 feet out just in front of the coin marker that we have. When a power play is called, we go 3.7 feet, 3 feet 7 inches. Sorry, we go 3 feet 7 inches off the center line for the guard, and the rock in the house is placed at the back of the rock on the tee line, intersecting the 12-foot and 8-foot in a perfect line, so it is perfectly guarded. The strategy that many teams, only Peter Rios and Jenny Parrott didn't use it when we watched earlier, many teams use is they come from the outside, try to hit half a rock and bump their rock to the center line or in the house and roll their shooter rock out. Especially when you have an advantage, you want to have a lot of rocks in play. So here we come again. Shannon Birchard's throwing it out there. Throwing probably back line weight, trying to catch just half of that rock. Of course, you cannot remove a rock until the 4th rock thrown in the game. So certainly that's not an option for the team. She did hit that pretty well nose, so did knock her rock back in. Let's see, no, it still leaves blue a shot rock, and it keeps it guarded. So great opportunity right off the bat, yes, for Just, who's played a tremendous game to draw around and corner freeze on this yellow, and that would leave them sitting two in a great position. So what Birchard and Schneider tried to do is exactly what we've seen as a key strategy. It just didn't get out there, or just she was just inside. Well, we won't know, but certainly yeah, just a missed shot, which we haven't seen many of this game. So a chance here for Wills and Just to take advantage of this power play and draw some attention to the outside of the rings and start to build up a nice end for themselves. And there it is, just as we've seen all game, just another perfect shot by Sherry Just. And so there we have it, exactly what they needed to do. They've got the one in behind that is second shot, and the one they just threw is shot, and it has backing in the sense of that yellow when it's on the angle of it. And if you were to try and remove the blue, you'll lose the yellow and keep the back blue one and maintain the advantage. It looks like they're considering Schneider and Birchard running that yellow one back, as is so often done in the 4-person game. Big difference there. You've got two sweepers and you've got someone in the house calling the line. In this case, it looks like Catlin would just have to throw his own and watch it go. But I think they've elected to throw the exact same shot that Shannon tried to throw, where you bump the yellow into the house, which is what I think they'll want to get that one in the house and roll their shooter out. So let's see how Catlin does in terms of executing it. Really important to remove this guard, get it out of the way so that they open up the situation that's mounting over there. So Shannon's got Catlin on it. He's got to go hard. Want to make sure you get on the outside of that and push it over and roll this one out of way. And looks like he is going to do just that. A great throw, great line call, and great execution of the shot. The rock's just coming into play on the overhead camera. And there we go. Why this team is considered a very, very strong team. Certainly though, Sherry Just and Sam Wills are in a good position. They are sitting two. They could actually use that top 12 rock as a guard and come around it in lie 3. Something they can consider, but it does look they want to try and protect a little bit what's going on over in the left side of the house. May even play their top blue one into the yellow and roll them both towards the center, splitting them all up. because certainly if you catch that blue one you hit will roll over and your shooter will roll over, or it could stay pretty close to right there. So we'll watch and see what they decide here. The other options we said would be just to draw around that top 12 yellow and be sitting 3. That's what they're looking at right there from the overhead. Looks like he's going to play a tap on that blue to push the yellow further out and try and spread the blues around in front of the tee line and create a situation that they can take advantage of. All right, here comes Sam Wills. Nice clean release right down that center line. Looks like he's got the right weight because a little bit of bump. He's right on it though from a sweeping perspective. Sherry just is right on the call. Looks like they've got to go hard. They don't want to cross the face. It's got to hit the rock on the inside. Looks like they will. Let's see how it ends up. Did they get enough? Did they get enough? Yes, they did. So, situation remains sitting 3, but there is a chance to do a double here. There's a chance to run that blue into those other blues, and pretty good chance that they catch a hold of one of them and get rid of it. Then they'd have 3 in play against only 2 blue. The good thing for Justin Wills, of course, is that the play is away from the center and out in the wings, so it's leaving her the entire 8-foot to use to draw into should the end not work out as they hope. Still have to make the shot, but a chance to get rid of 2 blue stones here for Birchard and Schneider. All right, Caitlin Schneider is all set up here. Looks like he's playing a hit. Not sure exactly what he's aiming at, but a final little conversation here, obviously, with his partner as they just firm up the exact stuff. And here we go. Caitlin's throwing a lot of heavy heaters, and here comes another one as he tries to remove 2 blue stones. He's watching line. Birchard's now sweeping. She's going hard. Caitlin's calling him. Oh, calling her off. Here she goes again, sweeping. Looks like he's got a really good shot. Gets 2 of them, and oh, just over top of the 3rd. Almost a great triple takeout. Great try. Still, though, Justin Wills are sitting 1. And this is last rock, so it's a chance just to draw in and take their 2. That would put them down by 1 going into the last end. And as we see, lots can happen in this game. And last rock, while it's an advantage, certainly is not the same as in the regular game because there are a lot of rocks in play and a lot of offense played. So really important shot here. Oh, I'm wrong. Wrong again. It is not the last shot of the end. Sam has 1 more before we get to the last rock. So we're still throwing rocks. This isn't our last shot of the end. Sam will try to come around and set up the deuce. Here he goes. And Sherry's right on sweeping. Looks like that's for weight. She's sweeping also to hold it there. It's starting to go and starting to curl. Sam's jumping in to join her. They're trying to hold it so it doesn't rack on this top guard. They do need to get it around. They do not want to rack. They want to get second shot. They do really want to get second shot, and they do. Even though it racked, it doesn't get behind cover, leaves it exposed, and a chance for a slash double, which is what Shannon's showing right now. It still at least got into second shot, which was really important. So looks like they're going to try and play the slash double. They already have a number of rocks in the house. They don't need any more, so it's okay if their shooter rolls out and away. Really quick call there. It's going to be Caitlin who throws this. He just threw a big heavy one, so with great success, so he'll try and execute that again. Needing to hit probably, I'd say, 3/4 of this. Try to hit that across the house and pick it out. So as we get ready to throw, one last conversation between the duo. Caitlin looks like he's set and ready to release. And it's off. There's a whoa there. We're not on it yet. It's close. It's just sailing away. Oh, just goes over top. A really good try. These shots are harder than you think when you've got no one calling line in the house, someone behind it yelling, and only one sweeper. So all these shots that we see, precision shots and doubles and triples in the regular game, not as easy in the mixed doubles because you don't have the same amount of people helping execute the shot. Nevertheless, another great shot by Catlin does get rid of that top blue and almost makes another double. So it looks like Justin Wills looking at the different opportunities, not sure what they're going to come up with. Drawing the open side would certainly be one. They may want to try and draw around those two yellows up top and maybe egg them into playing a run back and maybe get a miss to generate a 3, not sure, but we'll see what they come up with when they get down here. But once again, we won't have anyone in the house, so we won't quite be sure until after they settle in and throw their rock. Oh, here we go. Will's just cleaning his rock. Always something you should do before you throw it. Keeping an eye on the pass. Another one. We saw that in an earlier game when they were keeping Fowler and Fowler, keeping the rock's path clean before the shot, just making sure there was nothing that could get in the way. And Sam now has released this, and it's on its way down. Looks like they're drawing around the yellow ones, trying to generate a 3 maybe by egging Birchard and Schneider to maybe play a run back or a trickier shot. What they're trying to do is avoid a double in this situation, and they know the great hitting ability of Birchard and Schneider, so they didn't want to set that up. They've got to go hard to get this around. And they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. In fact, it's going to come up short and over curl. So it's leaving a chance for Birchard and Schneider to get at that back blue one and lie 3 and force a difficult shot for Just in order to get their 1 out of this end. So a bit of a turn of events there. Chance to lie 2, and now we'll probably be facing 3 when it comes time to throw their final stone. All right, Birchard's let it go. Here we go. It's a hit. Does have to curl. That seems to be tracking down the center line. I don't think she'll stick, but I think it'll curl enough to get it. It's got to move a little more, though. There it is. So obviously able to pick it out, not sticking around. So it's going to leave the straight draw with no backing. Got to get almost full 8 just to get a single point, but Cherry Just has been just spectacular during this game. So we are expecting her to make it, and we'll wait and see what happens. So chance here to get the single and head to the 8th end. Down by 2. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Sam Wills is there for the sweeping. Sherry Just will throw and call line, and if it's light, I'm sure she'll jump in and sweep too. So here she goes. Just needs to get to the 8-foot. It's been spectacular all game. She's released it. Sam is right on it, but he's off. He's not putting as much pressure, so it means he must be happy with this, but he's now just coasting it along. Sherry Just coming up just in case she's needed, but I don't think so. Sam's right off it now, letting it go. Is it going to glide too far? I don't think so. Looks like a really good throw, but it is still moving. Nope. Looks like Catlin likes it too. He edges it over to the side of the house. There we go. 1 for Justin Wills. As we come to the 8th end, we are in a 7-5 game for Schneider and Birchard over Justin Wills. And Schneider and Birchard, with that 2-point advantage, will also have advantage of last rock. Looks like they might be discussing whether they want to do the power play or how they want to approach this end. Obviously, they don't need to score to win, but certainly you have to be a little bit careful in this game, as we saw in the Meek Bernard Rock Steinke game. Rock and Steinke were down 4 against Meech and Bernard coming in the last end. Normally, you think that's pretty well over. Well, Meech and Steinke and Rock had a draw to tie it, but chose to try and make a tricky hit to get the 5. Just missed it and ended up losing that game. But there, a chance for 5 in the last end. Something that that can happen here. So we do see the power play. I think it's a great call, because it gives them a chance to keep all the play to the outside of the rings, and therefore leave them the chance for the win if things don't go as planned. So really smart strategic call here. and we'll see how it plays out for them. Just want to take a quick moment here before we play our last end to thank our sponsors. We have Qualico, our major sponsor. They've shown up here and watched a number of the games, obviously cheering for Caitlin Laws and John Morris, a team that they also sponsor as well as this event. The Malcolm Hotel in Canmore, Visions Electronics, Bow Valley Credit Union, our silver sponsors, and the many sponsors who are in the local community and the curling sponsors who are also supporting our event. Thanks to them, because without them, we would not have this event and not be able to bring you some of the great things that we're doing here, or at least that we think are great and that we think we're doing. Anyways, outside as we wait for the start of this, it's been wonderful. Lots of snow come down the last day, making this a winter wonderland for the players, and a chance if anyone wants to get out and do some outdoor activity to enjoy some amazing snow. I bet the ski conditions today were amazing. Lots of great powder up at Sunshine, Norquay, and Lake Louise, our local hills. And Nikiska, not far away in Kananaskis country. But we're inside in the curling rink, in the lounge, and the players are just outside the glass playing the game, and we are enjoying this just as much as we'd enjoy doing a powder ski day. And there you go, Justin Wills choosing, in this case, to not move that guard because they need to generate some offense, choosing instead to put a center line guard up. Try and take advantage of the rocks out front to generate something that they can get around. They do need to steal too, so I think it's a great call in this case not to try and bump that blue in the house. In fact, instead they want to leave it and create more. So let's see, we've got Caitlin and we've got Catlin, and Shannon trying to play off on this blue one. I think they're trying to play a little tick. They're just trying to tick it over, get it out of their way. It's okay if they bump it in the house because they do have last rock, but it is a rock they don't want to leave there. Here it goes. They're actually trying to sweep it out. If they can get it out of play, it'll have to be replaced and the yellow rock will be removed, and that is the case. So just like in the normal game when we see the free guard zone used and you knock the rock out of place, they look at where it is, and the teams whose rock it is gets to place it back within reason, obviously, and some consultation with the other team, but it is their choice to put it back in place, and the offending rock, the rock that moved it out, is removed from play. So a really good attempt, and it was something that they wanted to be able to do in terms of trying to move that off the center line. Didn't work out, and that will give Justin Wills the advantage they want now to try and generate this steal of two that they need. So as we've said earlier in other draws and other games, you cannot remove a rock that's in play until the fourth thrown stone of an end. You can have the rock you're throwing move out of play after it's thrown, but you can't have the rock that is already stationary in play removed. As we check out our other games right now, I'm looking over on sheet one where Perret and Rios are playing against Anderson and Dropkin, the Swiss against the American, and Anderson and Dropkin, after Rios and Perret took 2 and 6, they took 2 and 7, so we're all tied up playing the last end. So advantage to Rios and Perret because they have last stone, but a tie game over there, and we'll keep our eyes, see what happens. The game on sheet 2, Laws and Morris playing against Sterling and Kingman. That game is over. That has just ended, and Laws and Morris picking up their third win. They're a perfect 3-0 right now. Looking over on sheet 4, we have had Kierick and Bernie steal 1 in 5, 1 in 6, and 1 in 7. So they're currently up 7-5. Drever and Bernie do have the hammer, so they'll have the chance to generate the final shot and points in this end. And as it sits right now, they've got 2 behind the guard that are in great position. So certainly Drever and Bernie setting up this end for a nice win, but anything can happen, and a lot happening over on that sheet, so we'll keep our eye. But Drever and Bernie down 2 after being up 5-0, but in a good position right now on this last end, trying to generate 2 for the tie or generate an extra third one for the win, and we'll keep our eye on that situation. But back to our game here, and Shannon and Birchard and Catlin Schneider trying to clean up some of this front because they do have last rock, and these rocks are not helping them. They do enjoy a 2-stone lead, so that's helpful. Looks like he has it, and he does. What a great shot. He does leave his yellow, though, as a center line guard that they can use to come around. So certainly because of the placement of the yellow stone in the house at the beginning, they've already got one in the house, and still keeping that center line guard there. But not much Schneider could do. You get rid of the 2 blues, which you can always use your own yellow stone to raise it back, but it's always harder when you're using an opponent's stone. So at least they've got that positive out of it, and they got rid of the 2 blues. So great shot. And this end unfolding as we expected. A lot of defense and removal of stone by Schneider and Birchard to keep it fairly open, and a lot of offense and light shots guards played by Justin Wills to try and generate some protection that they can use to generate a deuce here and get the steal of 2 to force this into an extra end. Sam Wills now releasing the shot from the house. And Sherry Jester's right on it. She's actually moving over so she can directionally sweep it back towards the center. Looks like they're just trying to throw a guard, I think, in behind the existing centerline guard to set up a staggered situation. They do not want to leave it too close, make it an easy peel, because you know that Schneider and Birchard are both very, very skilled at it. At least by doing this, if they are to make the double peel, probably will leave their rock once again out front in trying to make this peel. So let's see what can happen here now. Caitlin Schneider heading down to throw this double peel attempt to try and clean up the situation that's amassing out front, and the only stuff that can really cause them some difficulty here in terms of this last end. And Caitlin's out, he's delivered. He's trying to come across it. He has floated this one out though. He is not going to get the double. Will likely pick his out and does remove one of the other blue rocks. As we say, at least you exchange a blue for yellow, but still leaves that blue one there, which is a good one to use to bump back into position for Justin Wills. But I think they'll probably throw another guard, one more guard up top here on top of that blue one, and see where we get to. So Sam Wills heading down to throw his next shot. As I say, likely a high guard. Well, this has been an exciting game for those that have been with us throughout it. Hopefully you've enjoyed it as much as I have. Some tremendous shot making, especially in our final shots of each end, where Sherry, Just, and Shannon Birchard have put on quite a display. Of course, supported by the strong sweeping of Sam Wills and Caitlin Schneider. As we said, it's a two-person game and it's a team game, and these two people have to work very well together, not just in throwing, but communication, sweeping. Every shot's made by two people, and so one throws, one sweeps, and has to move around, as we're seeing a lot. Sometimes you're sweeping on the right, sometimes on the left. But what a great throw by Sam Wills, needing to really get a good shot, and he did. I thought they might throw one more guard up top, but electing instead to try and come through. And no question on what's going to be played here. That guard is a dangerous one, and even if they don't make the double off of the shot, at least removing that rock in the back of the house will set up the easier shot as we get near the end of the end here to at least get the one and end this game. So Caitlin Schneider once again is going to throw a hit, try and remove that top blue guard. At the same time, we'll hopefully try to pick out this back blue one, sorry, but if he doesn't, at least he'll remove the dangerous rock, which is the one guarding the center of the house there. So the rock's on its way. It's going to get the top one, I think, and just split it out. It will roll across. Interesting to see what might happen on the other side with those rocks, but goes cleanly through them. Both rocks out of play. Back over to Sam Wills and Sherry Just. Let's see what they're going to try and do now. This is, I think, the last shot for Justin Wills. If they're going to get two, they're going to have to try and either create an interesting stagger that might egg them to try and hit them both. Could freeze down, which shrinks the area that they have to hit, or could try and draw over against the yellow one. And either way, you're going to leave Shannon Birchard, a great hitter, the chance to have a hit to end this game. She doesn't even have to stick around. Justin Wills need to score two, and Schneider and Birchard just need to remove one of the stones if Justin Wills get it into the house. So a lot of discussion going on here. In the end of the day, Shannon's quite confident, as I think Caitlin is, because they will have, if nothing else, an open hit to end this game wherever it's put. All right, decision's been made. They're going to try and draw it down towards that yellow rock and just leave the open blue one and hope for an uncharacteristic miss by Shannon Birchard in the final shot. Well, looking over on sheet one, missed the final of what happened, but some high fives from Dropkin and Anderson would lead us to believe that they might have just stole this game from Perot and Rios at the end. We don't have confirmation yet, but it does seem by the reaction that Perot and Rio might have suffered their first loss, and Dropkin and Atkins might have given it to them. We'll just watch Anderson and Dropkin. We'll see what happens when they come down, but by their excitement, I would have to assume that's what happened. Back to our sheet, we have Justin Wills now trying to throw their rock down. If they can put this in great position, it'll at least force the final shot. And the rock's away, Sam's on it. He's jumped on it here now. He's sweeping it. Doesn't look like he's overly concerned, but Sherry just has jumped in, so certainly they need to get it here, and they need to get it into full 8. They're taking a peek up, so I think they're happy with this. I think it will come in. But as we said, I think they'll just ignore that Birchard and Schneider, and they will just hit the open one. Settles in nicely. So they're lying the 2 that they needed to lie. Shannon Birchard just has to make a decision which one she wants to hit and what way she wants to hit it. She's made the call. She wants to throw the in-turn. She wants to come at this open one on the open side, which makes a lot of sense. No need being anywhere near other rocks if you don't need to be. And she's set. This is purely just a matter of execution. A shot she's probably done 100 times in practice and many times during games and pressure games. So we would expect her to make it, but Caitlin Schneider just making sure that the path is very, very clean. Something that a lot of top players do, and a smart thing to do. No sense taking any chances. Caitlin's set. She's focused. She's actually looking right at us. And we'll get a good eye on the line as she releases it. Really nice release. She is on it. He's just keeping it clean. Just keeping it clean. Just keeping it clean. We have a great last shot by Shannon Birchard, and we have a final here. Put one on the board. Sam Wills and Sherry Just did get one, but they needed 2. So a 7-6 final score for Birchard and Schneider. They'll pick up another win, and Justin Wills will accept the loss. All right, we do have to run over to Canmore. My apologies. We're not going to go into any interviews here in Banff because we have to pack up and get over to Canmore in 20 minutes to get all set up for the 4:30 game. Not a lot of time. It does take us some time to pack down and pack up, so we apologize for no after game interviews, but we will bring you an update on what happens when we get over to Canmore. But thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for being a part of this live stream, sending your comments, and we look forward to welcoming you back right around 4:30. If we are a little bit late getting on, please bear with us just because we have to make a big transfer and setup. I can give you an update here. I can share that just before we leave air, that on sheet 4, the final there will be Silcox and Kirik have defeated a local favorite, Drever and Bernie, who suffered another loss. And Silcox and Kirik will get their first win. A very close game, came down to the last shot, just had the hit right, but did roll out, negating the chance for an extra end. So that's the score on that one, and we'll see you in Canmore very shortly.